You're listening to the Scarf Bagara War, part of the Talksport Fan Network, and charity partners with Mentel, for county fans, by county fans.
Good evening. We are recording this on Sunday evening after the 2-1 defeat at home to Mansfield. Going to be releasing it on Monday as always, so I am aware that it is, well, the 6th of January. It is the first day back to work for probably 80% of the country. So hopefully me, Dan, and our super duper fan guest, we'll bring him on in a minute, will be cheering you up on your commute, and hopefully there's some silver lining to the cloud of our recent form. So let's start first. So Dan, are you good? Are you well?
Yeah, not too bad. I managed to get back to Suffolk before the Stowe started settling yesterday. So yeah, not too bad.
Wicked. And why don't we ask our fan guest, who is David Whitehead, how he's doing? If we can bring him out, that'd be mint.
To Louie Barry! Oh, yes! He's done it again! Louie Barry with an absolute screamer! It's a wonderful goal from Louie Barry!
Okay, you've just depressed me there, Dan. Why did you have to play a Louie Barry screamer goal when we could have
I clicked the wrong one. I meant to click this one.
Take it to the corner, flag son. Take it to the corner. Keep going. Don't cross it. Take it to the corner. He's cut it back. I can't believe it.
I was meant to click that one, but I did a waggy.
You can't get the staff.
You can't get the staff. Yeah, we'll have to be looking at that in the new year. January is a time for change, as they say. So if anybody wants to replace Dan on the buttons for me in 2025, please send your CV to me. Contact at scarfbagarawar.co.uk. I think the email address is. Yes. Okay, cool. Dave, thanks for joining us, mate. So this is going to be a bit of a regular. So we're going to, moving into 2025, we're going to be, it's me and Dan, and we're going to get a regular fan guest on. We're going to be rotating Dave, who we've got today, Steve Bardsley, and also Lee Rowley. So we'll get some differing opinions every week, and it'll just be nice to sort of shake things up a little bit. So thank you for agreeing to do that, Dave. Much appreciated. Sorry to hear that you're a little bit poorly and under the weather.
Yeah, it's only a touch.
You must have been snogging Dave Challinor, because once again he has got his winter bug, hasn't he?
Can I say though that he approached me, not the other way around?
Did he? Okay, then. Yeah. Is that for legal purposes? You're saying that in case anyone
just in case there's any leaks on X or anything like that.
Okay, then. Brilliant. Okay. So before we go through the team, let's just listen to a short clip of what Dave thought of that game.
Then you play as you do in the manner of the first half, and concede the goals that we did, and allow a team that are good at protecting leads and give them a lead, then they'll manage the game how they want to manage the game, get players behind the ball, and where we're at currently in terms of the top end of the pitch, that's where we're challenged, and finding those moments, which we know from experience, it's always difficult to break down a block and how you're going to create them goal scoring opportunities, and we were good enough to do that.
So there we go. We'll be talking about all this later, but I think I'm going to be agreeing 100% with Dave, like I normally do. If you see any of the YouTube comments on Dave's post matches, they're always what everyone says, what a breath of fresh air he is. Opposition fans always come on and say he speaks a lot of sense, but we'll get into that later. So Dan, why don't you take us through the starting 11, and then we'll find out whether Dave Whitehead, not Dave Challinor, Dave Whitehead thinks that it was a good starting 11 or not.
Yeah, so a bit of a change from the Birmingham game. Obviously, Sam Hughes came into the team, Carl Noyle, Callum Camps returned, and Ryan Rydell started as well. So a little bit formation-wise with no normal back three. Obviously, with Hinchliffe in goal, Connolly, Hughes and Pye. Obviously, Hughes replacing Fraser Horsfall. It looks like he's going to be out for most of the rest of the season. midfield four of Noyle, Norwood, Camps, and Rydell, with Collar and Bailey in front of them. I thought it was more like a box midfield with them four, and then with Wootton up top on his own. So yeah,
Dave.
I thought it was very much like a box midfield between Bailey, Collar, Camps, and Norwood. And apart from that, it's similar formation that we've seen before. Probably not as, obviously you lose that penetration running that you had with Barry, but it's not a million miles from what a county team has looked like in previous weeks.
Thoughts, Dave?
I would have liked to have seen Diamond start, just to get him some extra minutes more than anything. Clearly, from what we saw when we were in Pinatar, he was brought in to kind of replace Louie Barry until he kind of decided that he was going to come back. And since then, he's kind of dropped down the pecking order a little bit. But having said that, the jury's still out on him at the minute. Final third stuff, and sometimes his decision making. But I would have liked to see Barry start, and I would have thought he would have picked Torre again instead of Rydell. But obviously, he went with Rydell, who coincidentally spent most of the first half on the floor injured. It's like he was made of bourbon biscuits at one point. Like every time I turn around, he just seems to be on the floor. But yeah, other than that, fairly team picks itself, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, with the injuries that we've got, you're right. The team does pick itself. Listen, I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, I was pretty pleased with that team. I thought we'd control the midfield with those four, with that box midfield, as you said, Dan. I thought we had the creativity from the wing from Rydell to get some good crosses into Wootton. And I felt the back three would cope with what they had. They didn't have massive amounts of pace. Evans is a pest, a menace. He just doesn't stop running, but he's not blessed with tons and tons of pace. So I was thinking, yeah, okay, that's going to be okay. But we started so shitly, didn't we, Dan? Like the first 11 minutes was crap.
Yeah, it was. I think on our 3-word review, I think lethargic, was leggy, and just devoid of ideas. And it was just such a contrast from the second half of Birmingham. It was just unbelievable. Yeah, and like I say, we just didn't we didn't play to our strengths. We played Mansfield's game, and we got caught in this trap again. I felt at in the fixture at Mansfield at the end of August that we sort of got drawn into playing their type of game and their type of football and being physical and stuff like that, instead of having sort of good moments on the ball.
Yeah, I mean the start was obviously bad. We conceded a goal on 11 minutes. I thought it was a really soft goal to concede. They didn't have to work too hard, did they? Was it a throw in, and then I think Pye headed it back and no one cleared, and their guy just smacked it in, didn't he? I think from memory. But I was really pleased to see us get back onto level terms on 21 minutes. Great team goal. I didn't think we had that sort of goal in us, to be fair. We've seen so many goals from Louie Barry this season where it is literally one man doing everything. It was a breath of fresh air to see that we could put 3, 4, 5 good passes together, and that beautiful layoff from Wootton to Collar just to side foot it in. I was thinking, okay, maybe without Barry, we're going to become more of a team, and we'll see how that goes. But it proved to be short-lived. They got a penalty. You're in the cheat land, obviously. We see you before the game in the concourse. Yeah. Did you think that was a penalty?
Absolutely, 100%. Camps just took him straight out, didn't he? There's no, okay. Yeah. He sort of, from where I sit in lower tier 4, it looked like he went to clear the ball, and the guy just got his body in front of him, and on his upswing, he just literally took his legs from underneath him.
I thought he went down a bit theatrically, but maybe your view is better than mine.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It was probably no softer than any other penalty you've seen. And there's been plenty of them played today on Sunday. So it's no softer than any of the penalties that have been awarded today on Sunday in the Premier League for sure. But we seem to be sort of like our own downfall. We manufactured our own downfall in them games and just giving silly things away, like you say, the penalty.
Which was saved. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. And
let's give Ben his kudos.
Yeah, and in all fairness, that was probably the best thing he's obviously done all game, because he goes from 0 to 0 for me, because the second goal for Mansfield is completely Ben's fault. We've got the ball at the back, no real pressure, and then he boots it upfield in between two county players to nobody, and then it puts them on the attack.
Yeah, all it was one through ball, and he overhit it. That is the frustrating thing. Their midfielder did actually overhit it, and Will Evans did run onto it in quite slow motion. I just said he's not got masses of pace, but that's the sort of thing that I would have imagined Corey Adai to do, because he wasn't particularly hot on coming out, was he? He's sort of very much on his heels, not on his toes. And that is Ben's game as a goalkeeper. He's very good at commanding his box and coming out quickly, but he came, he stopped. And as soon as you do that as a keeper, you're toast, aren't you?
Yeah.
Can't hesitate.
No, you got to make that split decision and go. And then obviously he was left in no man's land. Decent finish from their guy. And you're sort of thinking 2-1. And I was thinking, have we got 3 goals in us? Can we win this game? I'm thinking, no, I don't think we've got 3 goals in us. Then I'm thinking, have we got 2 goals in us? Maybe if we're lucky. And second half, actually, no, should we talk about the potential red card for them? 43 minutes, then number 23, horrible central defender. In fact, he got taken off, didn't he, in the second half? Got substituted. 2-footed tackle all day long, surely.
Yeah, I thought it was over the top, to be honest. I thought he was, same again, the criteria, are you in control? No, you weren't in control. Was it dangerous? I thought it was dangerous. So, yeah, I mean, apart from screaming high heaven like a banshee when you go down and rolling around 50 times, I don't see what else he can do to sort of say that wasn't really acceptable and should be a red card.
Yeah.
We've not seen many red cards at Edgeley Park, have we? In fact, I don't think we've been involved in many games this season where the opposition have had somebody sent off. I can't think of
there's one. I'm trying to think. I think there was was the one with a goalkeeper, but no, he didn't. I think he got yellow when we give a penalty away.
Yeah. I don't think we've had any opposition player get sent off against us.
Yeah.
Obviously, Horsford got sent off in a game, didn't he? I think
that was Charlton. Was it Charlton away where he got? I think he got sent off, and we were holding on. But yeah, it was. I'm at that point. I'm just hoping for half time. I'm thinking to myself, like Birmingham, 1 goal in it still. Get to half time, and changes will be made. Rather, with personnel or tactically. Get us to half time, and we can't play as bad as that in the second half. But
yeah, I think there were too many players that didn't play well. Hughes didn't play well. Norwood was disappointing again. It seems like he's very hot and cold, and I think he relies upon his midfield partner doing a lot of the work for him. If a team doesn't allow him to spread the ball. And Mansfield were very defensive. We allowed them to be defensive because we allowed them to be in front for the majority of the game at the end of the day. And that's what their game is, isn't it? That's what Dave alluded to. As soon as they get their noses in front, men behind the ball, they're not interested. Okay, 11 men behind the ball. And that's what they did. So we needed to get some sort of penetration. And your man came on. Jack Diamond came on for Norwood. And then Maka came on for Sam Hughes. So an attacking substitution, which was required.
Yeah. I don't know what it says about Sam Hughes.
Back 4 again.
He did. Went back to the 4-4-2, wasn't it? Pretty much, I would say. I don't know,
Well, it's sort of like three at the back a little bit, with Connolly going in the middle, with Noyle on one side, and then obviously Pye on the other. But like I say, I can't see how Sam Hughes can sort of stay further. He's obviously not to bring him off at half time. I know he had a bad half, but he weren't no worse than anybody else in that team, I thought.
But this is Burton's player of the season last year.
Yeah. And I have to say, I don't think he was. He weren't great, but he weren't no way better. He weren't worse than some of the other performances. I thought, Connolly, I thought he was an awful half from him. Even like I say, Norwood, the game was going by him. Apart from, like you say, that little link-up bit between Bailey, Collar and Wootton, the rest of them really didn't have much credit in the bank at half-time, I thought.
Yeah. Were you going to say something on Sam Hughes there, Dave?
Yeah, when he was saying there that he was Burton's player of the season, you can look at that two ways, really. Is that he was the best out of a bad bunch, or let's be honest, we're talking about Burton. but not great, are they, really, from what we've seen of him so far?
Yeah, and I guess that's the difficulty when you are buying players from, and I think, we'll probably touch on the recruitment. There's a lot of stuff on socials, obviously, with the transfer window's now opened, so that means that all county fans are saying, "Oh, we need to buy loads of players." Dave has said he needs bodies in, and he said that we need bodies that are better quality than we've got. It's obvious. Every manager says this. But I said it on the last club call or the last pod on Wednesday. We are not going to maintain this position in the playoffs with the squad that we have. And this is the frustration that Dave's had throughout the first half of the season, when the second 11 have been given chances, they've not taken them. Suddenly we need to start using them and need to start relying on them. And they're not doing anything. And that is the disappointment. I know that you like Jack Diamond, and in Pinatar, he looked really good against Derby. Really exciting, positive, confident. I'm going to say something that might be slightly controversial, but I think he's giving Ollie Crankshaw vibes for me. Jack Diamond.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Crankshaw was great until it came to his final pass or his decision making and stuff like that, and he seems to be exactly the same. Yeah,
a little bit lightweight, quite easy to sort of run off the ball.
And sometimes, like when he's like out wide and he tries a little drag back to pass it to somebody, and he just makes a complete mess of it. And you're like, and you kind of just put your head in your hands and go, no. But it's too late. He's already done it and buggered it up.
Yeah. So we go into the second half. We made the attacking changes, and we had a pretty decent, first 10, 15 minutes of the half, I think. And I'm looking on FOTMob now, guys, so please bear with me. Yeah, the first sort of 10 minutes, the first 6 minutes, it was all Mansfield. And then we had a really, really good spell, like a 15-minute spell from 50 to 65 minutes when it was all us. But it didn't transfer into anything decent from a stats point of view. Our first half XG, like Andy from the pod, he hates me talking about XG. He's like, "Oh, I thought we played okay in the first half." Get this, Andy, first half. We had 0.12 expected goals. They had 1.39. Okay, a penalty gives you 0.8. But 0.12, 4 shots, 2 on target. It's not good enough at home. You have to be getting more shots. Dan, you've done this to death. The percentages or the numbers between shots to shots on target to goals, and we're nowhere near if we're getting 4 shots, are we?
No. Like I say, at the moment we score with 1 in every 10 shots we score. And like I say, and out of them 10 shots that we have, only 3 of them will be on target. So and it's not improved. Like I said, there's been plenty of games. This game we probably quite low. We only had 9 shots in total in this game, with 4 of them on target, which is very, very low in comparison to normal county games. Normally, we nearly double that number in total shots that we have in a game. So it was below par, but that's what we were expecting. We know Mansfield are a defensive team. They're a team of giants. They will defend in front of them. They don't like, as Clive told us on Wednesday, they don't like to be turned around, and they can be got at with a bit of pace around the back. And we didn't really sort of look at threatening at that at any point in the game.
And this is where I feel sorry for Dave Challinor, because he hasn't got the players to turn them, has he? That's the problem. I don't put this at Dave's door. Like, sometimes you can say, oh, he got his tactics wrong, or nothing I don't think he could have done to have changed how that game went, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, Mansfield for the second half just let us have the ball, because I think they kind of were happy knowing the fact that we didn't really look like we were going to create anything in the second half. So they were just quite happy to just sit there and let us have it. And coincidentally, we didn't. We just pretty much just passed it around everywhere and didn't really do much with it.
Yeah, I mean,
321 passes we had in that second half. 321 passes. And do you know what?
To find out how many of them were between the back 4.
Well, I've actually got this stat. So in the whole of the game, we made 551 passes. They had 298. Out of Pye, Conley, and Hughes, so they had 224 of those 551 passes. Hughes only played half a game, remember?
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, 2.5. And that's where there's been a lot said, as I said before, on social media about the recruitment and stuff. And I think we thought that Fiorini was going to be this creative, unlocking the door player. We've got Nick Powell who can do that, but he's obviously injured. I think this is where we really lack in our squad, and it's this sort of ability to create something through the centre of the pitch. Everything is side to side, down the wings, cross it in, or hoof it to Wootton. Yeah, that's all we've got. The midfielders that we've got, as good as they are, they're not the ones that can find creative sort of defence splitting passes. And when you've not got any pace up top either, it's a moot point anyway, isn't it?
I think over the last couple of years, we kind of get drawn into playing them the way that they like to play the game, rather than playing our game. They like to be physical. They want you to lump it up to Wootton constantly. At certain points yesterday, I was like, Wootton was kind of more bothered about getting one over on the centre half than he was about focusing on where the ball was going. Yeah.
And this is
and then on a couple of occasions when he did actually concentrate on the ball, he won the header and got the flick on.
But this is an ongoing criticism of Wootton. I mean, he does a great job.
It's great though,
Yeah, it is. But when the balls that are coming to him are too high, which they have been recently, just keep on coming onto his head, then you're right. He seems to be so distracted by his central defender that he just ignores the ball and says, right, okay, I'm just going to have a bit of a wrestling match for you and hopefully I'll get a free kick, which never happens.
He can't even buy one of them, can he?
And it didn't help with Mansfield bringing on another central defender every 10 minutes as well.
Flint as well, and
they finished with 4 central defenders, didn't they, on the pitch? From what I could see, they were all about 6
defenders, and 4 of them were central defenders. And like you say, he just gets drawn in. But I think as well that the Will Collar goal shows that if you have somebody that's actually alongside Wootton and they can play off Wootton, there is opportunities for them. He will create opportunities if he's got somebody alongside him. I mean, so far this season, he's played a very much isolated role, obviously, with Barry on one side and Collar or somebody else on the other. So he's been very isolated. But for me, that Will Collar goal showed in the first half that if you've got somebody alongside him or close to him, he will feed you and he will create opportunities for you.
The Will Collar goal felt a bit like a freak goal to me. It's not something that we're constantly looking for. It was a great ball by Bailey, and Wootton found himself in the box on the right side of his central defender, with Collar happening to be quite close to him. He's like, great, I'll have that. So he knocked it down and in it went. Yeah. The majority, 95% of the balls that are played to are played to Wootton are from the goalkeeper or from a central defender up onto his head. And it's a lottery. You're battling with a central defender. Barry, over the last sort of few games, was definitely playing more on his shoulder than he had done previously. A bit more of a number, a second striker almost. He wasn't occupying that really wide berth, was he? Because I think Dave was trying to get him a bit more central, and then maybe Rydell sort of occupying that sort of left winger type of position. But it's just so hard to get the accuracy on any sort of knockdowns when you've got someone pulling your shirt and dragging you down and all that sort of stuff. So it's by no means a guaranteed way of like getting to goal.
Yeah, and it's definitely if the ball isn't at him at a good height, or he's going to travel 10 yards across the pitch to get onto the ball, he becomes second favourite to win it, and he's going to give away a silly free kick because he's basically, the ball's been kicked up and it's going towards a full-back area, and he's going to come across the pitch, try and challenge the full-back. He's always just going to be second best to try and win that ball, and he gives away free kicks for that. But yeah,
I think he did find himself wide a lot yesterday as well. Like, sort of running into the channels where you'd expect like one of the wingers or Tanto, which obviously is not there. But there's another incident yesterday as well where I don't know if you noticed, but I'm pretty certain that they got an offside from a goal kick.
I read that. Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And also when Camps got injured, and he came on, the physio came on. The lad got a card and they made him go off the pitch.
Yeah,
we don't have to do that. And Kelly was going mental trying to get him back on.
He took ages to come back on.
Yeah, it was like, well, he didn't need to go off to start with.
Yeah.
He forgot about him.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was like, why have you gone off? You don't have to. It's like, do officials not know the rules, or is it just me that doesn't? I don't know.
It's definitely one that I'm confused about. Like you say, I thought if the player goes injured, but the person that created the foul gets a yellow card, then he doesn't have to go. He stays on, because otherwise, the attacking team, the team that's been fouled, is at a disadvantage. And the other one that annoys me now is all these manufactured drop balls. When I thought referees were going to say no drop ball was going to be manufactured now. Well, every drop ball I've seen is a manufactured drop ball. I just think you might as well just give a throw into the team opposed to dropping the ball and get on with it.
Yeah. So second half, I mean, we had, as you say, Dave, we had 72% possession, but we didn't really do enough with it. 0.32 XG for us. They had 0.02. It just goes to show how, they got their 2-1 lead and they were just sitting on it, weren't they? It would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Like after all those changes that Clough had made, if we'd sort of scored on the 90th minute, and then they've got all these defenders on, 7 minutes of injury time, would have been like the Alamo. But there we go. So
it goes to show, though, as well, with all the stats, 65% possession, the number of passes that we had compared to them, in total 551 passes, touches in the opposition box. We had 21. Mansfield had 18. So it shows you that with all them possession and the touches of the ball and everything, Mansfield still had just 18, but we only had 21 touches in each other's boxes, which tells you that we just huff and puff. It's all frills and lace and nothing really much down below.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that analogy, Dan. So 2-1 defeat leaves us with a pretty poor return, doesn't it, from the Christmas period? Not got it in front of me, Dan. I'm hoping you can. Here we go. The last 4 games have been defeat to Birmingham, draw with Rotherham.
Yeah, so over Christmas, obviously 12 points and Christmas, 12 points on offer. We lost at Huddersfield on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Then 2 draws with Rotherham and Birmingham, and then obviously the loss against Mansfield. So we've picked up 2 points out of a possible 12. We're not counting the Peterborough one because that's not really a Christmassy fixture.
Tough run of fixtures, though, in fairness. Like those 4 teams. Tough.
Yeah, and then you could argue, and I think Dave said as well, there's some of them games we definitely deserved to come away with more than what we actually did. And we could have very easily come away with sort of 7 points out of them first 3 games. The Mansfield game, we didn't deserve anything out of. Let's be honest. Obviously, if we come away with a draw in that game, we would have, we'd have stolen it.
Dave, what did you think of Fiorini when he came on? So he was given 80. He came on at 86 plus 7 minutes injury time. He had 11 minutes on the pitch. Fiorini.
Did he? That was it. He just seems to come on. He's used kind of sparingly, isn't he? Why? Yeah. Does Dave not rate him? I don't know. He's not really shown us fans pretty much, anything that's sort of suggested he came with sort of big ambitions. When he first signed, it was like, hey, this guy's, he's good, looking at, what he's done previously, previous clubs, loan spells, things like that. And you're like thinking, oh, we've got a tidy player here. And he's either not given a chance or he's either always injured or, he's just used very sparingly. But again, when he has had his opportunity in even against like Bradford in the auto glass windscreens, what pizza-based trophy, he didn't really light anything up on fire, did he? And it's kind of like everybody says the second string 11. Once they're called upon, then they're not bringing what they should be bringing to the team.
Yeah,
I'm confused as to what he is because my impression was he's an attacking midfielder. But I think, when he came on, the amount of times that he was like pretty much lining up with the central defenders, he just kept. He was so deep. He couldn't affect anything in the game from the position that he was picking. Obviously we were camped in their half, weren't we? And I think we put our central defenders pretty much marking their central defenders to try and get crosses in and knockdowns. But it was all very vanilla, very neutral, very
He's one of them players for me. I think at the start of the season, it would probably be more beneficial to send him out on loan somewhere. He reminds me at the moment a bit like Lemonade Evans. And I'd actually say I would have rather kept Lemonade Evans than Fiorini at this moment in time. But he's one of them. For me, if you sent him out on loan and he got a little bit of form under him, like we did last season with Evans, and bring him back and then play an instrumental, important part for the rest of the season. But at the moment, he just looks lost. He's got age on his side, so we don't want to write him off. Yeah. But at the moment, he's not any better than any of the players that left the club this summer. I would say.
And is that part of the problem? Like, if you look at our best 11 now, how many of the players in that best 11? Let's just bring up the that starting 11. Okay, so Ben, he was already at the club. Connolly, would you have Connolly in over Akil Wright?
I think Connolly's been a successful signing this season.
I do.
I think he's showed his quality at times. He's got a little bit of a loose pass in him, but I think he's shown his quality at times. So I've been quite happy with him. Considering it, same again, another player that missed pre-season as much. He's not done too bad for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's done all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Connolly's a tick. Hughes versus Horsfall.
No, Hughes is. He's another Joe Lewis type scenario, and you could see him leaving the club without actually seeing the best out of him. To be honest,
he's a sort of player that could potentially do well at another sort of maybe lower ranked League One side, a Cambridge or a Bristol Rovers or something, where they're just constantly heading the balls away. And I don't know, he seemed good at that. Pi, he's got no competition, as Dave said in his pre-match. I think it was. They are like rocking horse shit, left-footed centre backs.
Yeah,
I mean, he likes to play Ibby there, doesn't he? But we all know what happens when he puts Ibby there.
Exactly. Then you're sort of moving on to Noyle. So obviously he's playing at right wing back. You could put Macaulay Southern-Hales in there at right wing back. There's no other player that I would rather have from the players that we've signed playing at right wing back. Maybe Mingy, but he's not shown enough, I don't think, with all the injuries that he's had.
Yeah. Both him and Febs have been injured loads, haven't they, since they've been every couple of weeks. It's just weird.
Yeah, and you look at the 4 loan signings that we had. Adamola, Onyango injured, Mellon injured. Obviously, Barry's been a success, but obviously he's gone now. So you got 4 loan signings that have come in. Only one of them has really given the team anything. And like I say, so that's nobody's fault, because like I say, we've seen glimpses of Onyango and Adamola, but they're made of biscuit at the moment, aren't they? So
and on paper, these players should have been better than what we had. Obviously, we offered contracts to Sarcevic, to Lemonhay Evans, to Paddy, and they decided to turn those contracts down, probably in favour of getting longer deals elsewhere. Their injury records haven't been great from what I've heard. I don't know about Lemonhay Evans, but certainly Sarcevic and Paddy, they've struggled for minutes. But I don't see. I mean, I think Barry. Well, obviously Barry, 100% amazing player. Bate has been amazing for us. If he stays with us, he will continue to do well, and he'll make us a significant fee when we do sell him. And Connolly's been solid, and maybe Fevrier when he's played. I've been impressed with him more so than Diamond.
He's shown glimpses as well, but again, for an absolute unit of a man, he seems to be getting injured an awful lot.
Yeah,
it's like what's up with him now? I mean, does he pull his muscles in the gym or something? Because he doesn't seem to do much when he's playing. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the sort of player that he is, obviously, he's explosive, isn't he?
He's dynamic, isn't he?
Dynamic, and you wonder whether that type of player is going to be more injury prone, maybe putting a bit like Tanto, putting more load on to the muscles when they're sort of using that sort of dynamism. I don't know.
I suppose.
So it's all been a little bit. Yeah, disappointing, isn't it? I mean, we're doing okay in the league, obviously.
Yeah.
I've been on record.
Let's not shy away from the fact that we're still within touching distance, and it's not all doom and gloom. Let's be honest. We are still now in League One.
Yeah, and you're talking the next 3 games. You win the next 3 games, Palace, and the next 2 league games, and
Palace,
and everybody's. Do you know what I mean? The season's just turned itself on the head, doesn't it? But that's we go into Sunday against Crystal Palace with nothing to lose. With the opportunity of putting best foot forward, and stranger things have happened, and that could be just one game that really kickstarts the season. And especially if Simon Wilson can bring in some quality players. Obviously, the rumor has it. Mellon's gone back. Otherwise, we'd have probably seen him.
I think he's definitely gone back, and he scored for their reserves or their under 23s or something the other week.
And he's always Northampton and other teams are already talking about signing him on loan this month. But if you bring in a few players, obviously we don't know what's happening with Onyango and Adamola, if they're staying or if they're going to be fit or they're going back to their clubs. But we need bodies in. We need a little bit of quality as well. It's all good enough looking at players that have got potential and have fallen away a little bit and undervalued, but we need people that can step up here and now for me. So they've been here, done it, and I think, like you say, Connolly, out of all the signings, Connolly's a player that's played at championship level, and I don't think he's let anyone down. Same with Bate. You look at the players that have played in the championship, and got lots of games under their belt. They're not the ones that have really let us down.
No,
maybe with the exception of Norwood on a 3-year deal for a 33-year-old.
Yeah, but I still think he'll come good. He's a bit like Powell at times. We don't play to his strengths. I think when we get better players on the pitch that can play to his strengths, I think we will see, like Powell, we'll see a different player.
The thing is, though, if Lewis Bates, if Bates is actually available and so's Camps at this moment in time, Norwood doesn't get anywhere near the starting 11. Then,
no, he doesn't. You're right.
You're going to pick them two straight away. Camps at the start of the season was head and shoulders above one of our best midfielders till he got injured, and now he's slowly creeping back. But I think Camps has been brilliant so far this year.
I think if you've got more up top as well, I think Collar probably gets into that midfield ahead of Norwood as well. If I'm honest, but I know what you're saying, Dan, about Norwood and Powell maybe playing better with better players, but Powell is a big miss. He's I've said this many times. He is my favourite player when he's playing.
That pass that he made for that goal against Lincoln, for Santo's goal, that was just I was stood right behind that. That was some ball. That there's not many people out on that field that day that could have hit that.
Yeah, was that the quick free kick one, or was it?
Yeah, it was the one where he just sort of hit it with the outside of his right boot. And
that one,
sort of pinged right on a sixpence.
Yeah,
Santo just went, "Cheers, I'll have that."
Yeah, so I mean, it's all going to be quite. To be fair, the club are quite good at keeping injuries and when players are coming back. Hush, aren't they?
I don't know about you guys, but I was hoping or half expecting that we'll turn up for Mansfield and there'll be an announcement of a new signing, a new player in the starting 11. That somebody that's been training with the club for a few weeks and they announced it, because they have got a habit of doing that, announcing a new signing a few hours just before kickoff that, we're all hush about and didn't realise, and catches everybody off guard. And I was sort of hoping that was going to be the situation there. Same again, maybe hoping that the Icelandic lad was going to be on the bench as well. Even though
he's still waiting on his work permit, isn't he?
I don't know. I mean, we all got told that don't expect that, but we all hope that we do expect it, even though we're told not to. But like I say, he's just leggy and lethargic performance. It was probably one of the worst. Even though we got the goal, I think that was just as bad as being beaten 5-0 by Wickham.
I'm not sure I'm going that far, to be fair.
I'm not.
No,
at least we were still in with a chance of getting the equaliser.
I think we should just at the start, and like if we're still in this division with Mansfield next season, just give them it's like what we always used to say with them Welsh lot. Let's agree that you'll win your game at home and we'll win our game at home. With Mansfield, just give them 6 points and then that's it, done. That's how it just seems to be recently. We've not beaten them for so long.
Yeah.
And I keep saying to myself, I'm not going back to Mansfield, and I ended up going back again this year.
Well, you'll probably be going back again next year then, Dave.
Yeah, probably. I know, yeah.
And we're going to play them at the bank holiday at the end of August, and we'll be playing them at home sometime over Christmas again or New Year.
Probably.
Cool. Okay. Well, bit of a downer, this one, wasn't it? To be fair, not a lot to celebrate, I would say.
No, but like I say, we've got Sunday to look forward to. Crystal Palace away, and we get a chance to put that result. Tanto might be back as well. For Sunday, so
do you not think? No, it's worrying how you say Tanto might be back or Mingy might be back, or we don't seem to have the ability within the squad to let players really come back without. We seem to be chucking them back in because needs must.
Yeah.
That can't be good for them.
He does, though. He does manage their minutes. You know, he has been. At times I think he's been a bit over precautious.
Yeah.
About.
I mean, if you look how he sort of uses Maka and Noiley at the minute. He only gives one of them X amount of time and then brings the other one on. And it's the same with Rydell and Ibby.
Yeah.
Even though Ibby's not been injured, you know, he's still wanting Ryan to get some time, and then he brings Ibby on, or vice versa. So he's kind of managing their minutes, but everyone else, it's kind of like, well, I mean, if Wootton goes down, what are we going to do then?
Don't know.
It's
Got
like
Sam Hughes up front.
Well, yeah. Well, it works for Mansfield, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Sticking centre halves up front, yeah.
But that is
the way around, is it not? They put strikers at centre half.
Strikers at centre half. That's the one, yeah. Getting
but that is the issue at the moment. That you take Wootton out of that team, and we lose a lot of our identity and style and way of playing at the moment without Wootton. And I've said it before, it'd be good to have another Wootton type player, because I think after 70, 80 minutes, Wootton's game is run. He's tired. He starts to give silly free kicks away the longer the game gets away, because he gets tired and he gets drawn into personal battles and individual battles. And at times, I just think it'd be better if 70 minutes comes along, you can bring somebody a fresher challenge on to replace Wootton and to give their defenders a different headache.
But surely, if you're doing that, you want them to be a completely different type of player, like a little nippy one.
Which is kind of like what he does with Tanto, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
When he brings Tanto on, he's a hell of a lot quicker than Woods, isn't he? But you know, the games, he'll run the channels and stuff like that, and whereas
because he runs the channels, we've got nobody in the box. That's the problem.
That's just it. Wootton will, but then it's like, you know, your centre forward who's decent in the air is out there trying to cross the ball, and it's to nobody.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed, is that we're not getting players into the box like maybe we were earlier in the season. Whether it is them being leggy and tired, but we just don't seem to have the numbers in the box anymore. And you're against like 4, 5, 6 defenders. It stands to reason you're not going to score many goals. Anyway, let's wrap it up. So so we've got Crystal Palace coming up. Are you going, Dave?
I am.
Daniel,
yes.
Are you off to Crystal Palace?
Yep.
Me too. So I'll see you there. Fingers crossed that we can get something out of that, because I'd love to be in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Spurs,
and let's be honest, when we win the FA Cup, mate, this Mansfield malarkey will be out the window, won't it? Nobody will remember Mansfield.
You need to put 10 quid on that if you're that confident. You get some good odds on County winning the FA Cup, Dave.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then. Well, thank you to both of you, and I'll see you at Palace.
No worries. All right, take care. See you later.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and more. You can find us on X, Facebook and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!